This evening we're at the State School Teachers Union of WA. They've been so kind as to hold a book reading for Beyond That So Gay here in WA, and they've been quite amazing in terms of getting it out to lots of different networks and promoting the fact that the book and the tour, the Beyond That So Gay tour, is here in Perth. One of the great outcomes of that is that we've got a lot of exciting people coming along. So that includes, for example, the Commissioner for, the Equal Opportunity Commissioner for WA. We've got a lot of high-ranking people from the Department of Education and Training. We've got people like school psychologists, we've got parents, we've got people from the local gay and lesbian community, as well as some of the bigger organisations here in WA. So it's a pretty exciting event, and hoping that it's all going to go well. So let's see how it goes. It's really a kind of different event here. Travelling for many weeks through regional and rural areas, having lots of cuppers with people and not really having to be that official. It's quite a bit of a shock to the system to have something that's a bit official, where my name's on sort of flyers and documents and I'm on websites and things like that. So I need to kind of get into that mindset of being a bit official. So the reason why we're here tonight at the union is to talk about my book, Beyond That So Gay, as well as to talk about the thing that led up to the Beyond That So Gay book being published, and that is the Pride and Prejudice educational package. So I expect a good turnout. Hopefully people will be interested in the things that I've got to say, and I'm really keen to find out how people respond to the things that I'm going to read out and the things that I'm going to talk about.
It's particularly poignant that Daniel is visiting regional centres, because this is where we've seen the disadvantage at its worst. And to get out there to really reach these kids who are growing up in situations that are incredibly isolated, it's a very important role. So we appreciate the fact that you're doing this. Having this tool is particularly valuable, because if you are in an isolated community out there in regional Western Australia, and say you've got a young person in your school, how do you know how to help them? What tools are out there for you? This is available on the web. It's available. You can easily access it. So it's a valuable tool book, I think, for us all. So he's not only going out there and spending his personal time telling people of his own experiences with this and encouraging people to be more supportive of LGBTI children, but he's taken the formidable step of publishing his wisdom. And so I think we can share this long after Daniel has left us and gone around Australia and continued his tour. We can share this with everybody. And so, I really appreciate the fact that you've done that and put the effort in. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about it.
My message is quite simple. We underestimate the role that homophobia plays in our lives and our own abilities to challenge it. We overestimate how difficult it is to effectively challenge homophobia and to defeat it. Old thinking suggests that few schools can take on this work. In my new book, I demonstrate that every school can assess how ready their school community is and to do something along the way. So I talk about a continuum. And rather than saying at this point in the continuum you can do work in the classrooms with students, I say assess yourself along a scale, and there's something that each and every school can do along the way to make life better for young people. The other issue I talk about is the fact that this is not just about gay, lesbian, bisexual and transgender students. This will benefit all students, and I talk about that quite a bit. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but we have what we need to make a great start. There are no excuses. We have a program that changes attitudes and homoaggressive behaviour in students. We know that it works, it's there, it's evaluated. Approximately 1 month later, the two alpha males of the group, Nathan and Damien, made their way towards me. This was an event that you noticed because either young man alone could prove a challenge. Both had hit teachers and students hard. The two together was potentially a very bad Friday afternoon. I sensed something in their body language as they shuffled shoulder to shoulder, closer and closer to me. that a coming out related moment was pending. Everyone else's eyes upon them said to me that the group was aware of what both had planned. Would I be voted off the island? Damien, Danza, we've got something to say, Danza. Okay guys, I'm all ears. Well, Danza, you have to know that we hate faggots, right? Yeah, we hate faggots. Shut up, dickhead, and let me finish. Okay, hurry up then. We hate faggots, Danza. But you're okay. At that point, both broke out into cheeky grins from ear to ear. Each shook my hand, which we did, firmly. Smiles rippled out across the scattered sea of Friday afternoon young people. Me. Thanks, guys. What had happened would later be confirmed when I read a book called Overcoming Heterosexism and Homophobia. Pivotal in my development of Pride and Prejudice, this book discussed research on the most effective ways to combat homophobia. By far the most successful strategy was where individuals came out to other individuals with whom they had an existing, significant and ongoing relationship. I realised that these teachers who were sitting observing me could actually be co-facilitating, or they could be doing this themselves. And so I started to train teachers and health professionals. Now, what happened was I received some funding from a health promotion organisation in Victoria called Witthaus. And what they did was they funded a partnership between myself and Deakin University to put together the Pride and Prejudice package. This came out in 2002. And the exciting thing about this was, I was talking about this work that I did in Northwest Catholic School, and I was going around to lots of conferences and doing lots of presentations. And I still remember I was in one particular presentation, and the woman up the back said, "Oh, you gay people, if only you just realise you just need to make up a folder, put in the session plans, maybe some handouts, because we like to photocopy those, and you should have a video, because young people love videos these days. And if you give that to us, then we'll actually do the work. We'll be able to do that ourselves." And I said, "Are you serious? Are you serious? Is that all that we have to do?" Because for years I heard this would never happen in schools. And they said, yes, it was. But the extra thing that we decided to do was to evaluate the program and find out, does this actually do what it sets out to do? The question that came up in 2007, 2008 in the wake of that kind of the challenges in terms of rolling that out across schools was, this was put out in 2002, is it a bit of a dinosaur? Let's have a look at it. Maybe it's not relevant anymore. And one of the things that we did was, last year Deakin University re-evaluated the program, not only to look at the original results, but also to say, are there some ways that we can improve this? Are there some things that we can add to it, to make it a bit more up-to-date and relevant? What they found was that not only did it still change homophobic attitudes to this day, they looked at another thing called homo-aggressive behaviour. So that is physical and verbal violence towards other students who are gay and lesbian, or as importantly, are perceived to be gay and lesbian. So they wanted to see whether that homo-aggressive behaviour had changed. Now what they found in psychological terms was it dropped through the floor. So we did it in a school where they said, oh, we don't think they're going to be homophobic at all, we don't think there's much of a problem. And what they found was the baseline level of homophobic attitudes were quite concerning, as they were in lots of schools, and that there was a lot of homo-aggressive behaviour going on. Why homo-aggressive behaviour is important is that if you look at research into the experience of same-sex attracted young people in schools, what you find is that their experience compared to their heterosexual counterparts, they're faring worse on every health measure that you can come up with, any health measure you want to pick out of the sky. But that becomes even worse when those students experience homo-aggressive behaviour. So things like self-harm, substance use, suicidal ideation just go for those same-sex attracted students who experience homo-aggressive behaviour. So if we can look at using a program that actually impacts on that specifically, then we have some real opportunities in our schools to make a difference for young people. Stay tuned for when that gets published.